more likely to stay with their current team this season? Not today, not this week, but the entire season. Ben Simmons or Damian Lillard? Matt, what you got?
Dame, although I'd like to see him get out and get somewhere he can win. I think the writing's on the wall in Philly, and, you know, Doc Rivers' ending press conference kind of said something. Joel Embiid has slid some stuff in there, here and there, so I definitely see Ben Simmons on the move.
What about you?
Yeah, I'm going to say the same thing. I think Dame stays in Portland to start the season and maybe to finish the season. Ben, to me, initially I thought they were going to try to bring him back and take their time with this one, but it feels like he's gone from there. And it goes both ways.
I have to ask our Philly guy here, the native.
Yeah.
I don't know if you trade Ben Simmons right now. I understand the idea of wanting to get into training camp with the team you're going to have and chemistry and all of that stuff, but isn't his value going to be higher midseason?
Yeah, it's a fair point, Rachel. I think the moment would have been draft night or leading up to the draft, but I had to make a 3 for 3 because the way Joel Embiid spoke about Ben Simmons after Game 7 against Atlanta.
You were there.
That doesn't happen. And to me, if there was something salvageable, that wouldn't have occurred.
Okay.
And so
you think that's why he's got to get that move has to happen before camp?
It's an oil and water fit. They got pretty far, even despite having that. But one guy occupies the paint, the other guy can't shoot from the outside. You got to pick one.
And I think what Dave said is sometimes there's stuff that's said that you just can't go back on. You know, and not that Joel took a direct dish shot or what Doc did was, but they're both borderline. And for a young player who, to me, his whole problem is psychological. When you hear your head coach and the other star on your team kind of have a same sentiment about who you are as a player and where they can and can't go with you, I think it's only a matter of time that Ben kind of has to get out of there now.
Yeah, and look, I have seen it work to some degree in the regular season with shooting around them. So it's not like I cannot believe it can't work. That word can't.
I would love to see him stay. I'm a big fan of Ben Simmons. Like I said, I think it's more psychological than anything, and I think he's a good fit there. It's just, you know, he's had some bad times. Again, those teams they had a few years ago with JJ, and they surrounded him with all this. That was a really scary team, and, you know, 3 Kawhi bounces away from going to the finals. You know what I mean? So I think if you surround Ben with shooting. But like I said, there has been some things that are said that I don't know if it's going to be able to mend those.
But you know what, though? I know what was said, and there are things you can't come back from. But also, what are they supposed to say? Like, the question was, when did you lose the game? And it was, okay, well, when Ben passed up a dunk because he was afraid to shoot the free throws. Like, I guess he could have said, well, it wasn't one play. You know, I don't know what they're supposed to say, though. Like, it's a hard one. And on some level, it's going to have to come from Ben, too. Like, people have been nice about him not being able to shoot from outside, but also the free throws. Like, you're right, it is psychological, but on some level, it has to come from the guy who's got to fix the problem, too.
Right, but the 2 men we're showing on the screen right now, the front office of the Sixers, I think it has put them in a bit of a bad spot here because Ben Simmons' value has not been lower than it is right now in a long time, right? This performance in the playoffs certainly lowered Ben Simmons' value. What Joel Embiid said afterward lowers the value because there is more of a feeling of like, oh my God, we got to get him out of here before training camp. And this is a guy who could still be a major piece on a contending team.
Great defensive player.
Defensively, he's incredible. In the open court, he is has some of the best instincts that we've seen in the league. But in the NBA playoffs, it's not open court basketball as much.
No,
and there's severe deficiencies. And the best Sixers team that you mentioned, Matt, with Jimmy Butler on it, they took the ball out of Ben's hands. He was playing in the dunker spot.
Yep.
Right.
You know, so he has some stuff to work on. I'm not saying he can't. He's, 24 years old, you know? But right now, when Joel Embiid has the health history that he does, and he is reaching his peak right now, the window is now.
Yes, absolutely. And we do expect that deal to happen. Stephen A. was here earlier. He was trying to make a Dame Lillard deal happen for his Knicks. We're going to hold off on that.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.